Welcome, everybody, to another NBA playoff betting preview on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. Today, we're going to look at the Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to our Eastern Conference semifinals. This is a matchup I love just because, I'm in my 50s. I remember the Celtics Sixers matchups in the 1980s, Dr. J against Larry Bird. And I don't know that the rivalry is quite what it used to be, but it's still up there. And maybe this will reignite it a little bit more as the Sixers and Celtics officially match up in the Eastern Conference semifinals with game one of the series set for Monday at the TD Garden in Boston. And I think this challenge will be a tall task, but there is a chance that the Sixers could reach their first Eastern Conference Finals as Allen Iverson took them in 2001. Now, thanks to a balanced attack, the Celtics won 3 out of the 4 regular season matchups. They won the first 3 in a row. Sixers got the last one. The C's were able to turn just about anybody on the floor for the Celtics against the Sixers, no matter who it was, seemed like they got the job done. And of course, the biggest question in this series is the LCL injury to Joel Embiid. Now, I'm sure he may play in some games, but I don't think you're going to get him at 100%. So when you look at that, you got to look at the keys to win this game, especially for Philadelphia, because it's going to be hard to do without a healthy Embiid. Now, Tyrese Maxey for Philadelphia against Boston's perimeter defenders is one big key, I think. Now, Maxey had a tough game going against the Celtics in the regular season. In the 4 games with Boston, coming off the bench twice, he only averaged 10 points. He shot 35% from the floor, 21% from the three-point line. And the Celtics have legitimate perimeter defenders. I mean, you got guys like Marcus Smart, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and others. I mean, this is a deep Boston team. And they also have smart big men who can stymie Maxey when he gets to the rim. They're great at helping out on defense, closing it down when he brings it to the basket. Now, getting Maxey going has to be paramount for the Sixers. With Embiid's injury, they will need this young guard out of Kentucky to get going and find a way to score consistently and find open looks. So James Harden is another huge one. James Harden was able to get to the rim in round 1 against the Nets, but it was finishing at the rim that gave him trouble. He shot only 24% on layups in round 1 against the Nets, and he has been able to convert on those looks against Boston in the past. And as with Maxey, Philadelphia will need Harden to lead the way on offense until the big guy returns. And like I said, with he not returning it at 100% anytime soon, I don't think, they're going to need Maxey and Harden to basically go off 4 out of the 7 games to have a chance. Now, the other key is how do you stop the Jays? I mean, the Celtics, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, one of the best combinations in the NBA, and they're going to give the Sixers a lot of headaches in this series. Now, Philadelphia will likely blitz both of them when given the opportunity in the half court. One could assume that Tobias Harris will be assigned to one of them while PJ Tucker gets the other. They're both really good defensive players, but it's going to be hard to keep these two guys down. In the 4 games during the regular season, Tatum averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. He only shot 28.6% from the field, though. Brown played 3 of the 4 games against the Sixers, and he averaged 22 points a game and shot 48% from the field. The two of them scored 30 plus each in the clincher game over the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the X factor to me for Philadelphia is Tobias Harris, who we've already talked about. Harris was a phenomenal against the Nets in round 1. He averaged 20 points. He shot 57% from the field and 57% from deep. So the question is going to be whether he continue this type of production in the semifinals. Now, Harris historically has been great, really good numbers, at least in round 1. Round 2, not so great in the past 2 or 3 years. He is going to have to produce something close to the numbers he did in game 1 for the Sixers to have a shot with a beat up or maybe even no Joel Embiid. Now, the other question is, what kind of impact will PJ Tucker have for the Philadelphia 76ers? Now, the Sixers brought Tucker to Philadelphia for moments like this. He made a ton of really big hustle plays against the Nets in round one, and he will now have to do that in this series with the Celtics. In the last matchup against Boston on April 4th, Tucker had 11 points and he knocked down three big triples in the fourth quarter to seal the Sixers' only win of the season against the Celtics. He has to bring that kind of production again into the series, and he only shot 20% from 3-point range against Brooklyn in the first round. The status of Joel Embiid is everything here because really this series is close to a toss up, I think, if Embiid plays at 100%. Now, anything the Sixers do in this series is going to depend on the health of the big guy. And if Embiid misses any time in this series, then it's tough to see Philadelphia being able to overcome that big of a loss in a playoff series against an extremely deep Boston Celtics team. Now, the fact that this series doesn't begin until Monday does give him more time to rest up and to get a little bit better. But will that get him in the game? Will it get him at 100%? I think it's safe to say it's probably not going to be 100%. But he may be able to play, and anything you can get from him, you'll take right now if you're the 76ers. Now, everything in this series, like I said, when we predict it, depends on Embiid. Even if he does play at any point in this season or series, he's not going to be 100%. And for the Sixers to have a shot in this series, like I said, Harden and Maxey have to be big time scorers for Philadelphia, and they're going to have to do it consistently. They're also going to get role players have to play at another level from what they usually play. So when I look at this, the Celtics' depth is the difference here. You've got the Jays, both their players are completely healthy. They're ready to go in this series. They've got the home court advantage. 4 out of the 7 would be at TD Garden if it goes that long into series. And, that two-headed monster for Boston and Tatum and Brown is not all you have to deal with if you're the Sixers. They can rely on guys like Derek White, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Grant Williams, and others. And that'll be the difference in this series is Embiid's injury and the depth of the Boston Celtics. I like the Celtics to take this series. I think they take this in 5 or 6 games. That's how I would bet this series. And I want to remind you guys, if you do want to bet it, make sure you check out BetMGM. BetMGM is your best bet for finding an online casino or sports book that's right for you. Make sure you check them out in the link in the description down below on this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, bell notification button so you know every time we go live to Grueling Truth, and follow us on Twitter at The Grueling Truth. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap it up. And once again, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.